Hey, I'm Nate, and today I want to go over how I went over the cost cap on building a Formula One simulator. Let's take a look. So let me start this video by prefacing that I'm very new to sim racing and probably maybe a year into doing this with sourcing parts, figuring out what works and what doesn't for how I have the most fun at home. I'm by no means a professional at anything here. In fact, I don't even race online. I just do track times and race against AI competitors on the game, and I primarily just play F123. So just gonna lay that out there first. I am not good at this game compared to a lot of other people. So you could probably beat me on a GameCube controller if they still use those. When I started out, I was just like, I want to know what the most realistic feeling thing would be as far as the force feedback and all that kind of stuff. And after reading reviews and stuff, direct drive was the way to go. So I went with a Fanatec or Fanatic. I hear it said both ways online. Don't know which way it is. Anyways, I have a Fanatec DD1 base that provides more than enough torque and stuff, and the feedback is just awesome when I'm driving. I can feel all the tires skidding around and all that kind of stuff. I can definitely feel the realism through the DD1 base. From there, I got into steering wheels, where I started out with a Fanatec Club Sport steering wheel, which still is awesome. I actually still use it until I can get my new steering wheel here dialed in a little bit more. My new steering wheel is from Zen's Custom Wheels, and it's a super sweet wheel that I had him make. He makes custom stuff, so this one is a complete one-to-one replica of what you find in the RB19s, and it's a pretty cool feeling when actually you get to racing with it. However, Amazon has lost 3 times now the packaging or the wires that I need to actually get this steering wheel up and running completely. So a little frustrated there, and I'm trying to find another company that doesn't use Amazon to ship products so I can actually get the correct cords that I need to power up this steering wheel and get it running right. When it comes to the actual cockpit, seat, chassis, whatever you want to call it, I started out with the Play Seat Formula One seat, which wasn't this one. It was the smaller or lesser. It's still a very high-end seat. Is not designed for direct drive bases like the DD1, and as soon as I started really getting into longer length races and getting into just really aggressive driving, I almost felt like I was going to snap that center steering column right off the seat. So I went back to Play Seat, did some more research, figured out what else they had, and they have the Formula Intelligence package here, which is what I ended up getting. It took 2 months to get it through customs from the Netherlands to here in the States, and it cost a pretty penny to get it through customs as well. I did not anticipate that, but I finally got through it, and I finally have it here in my new office. So it's an awesome seat that is actually way easier to get in and out of than the other Play Seat that I had, because the seat actually slides to the correct position that you want to put it in, as well as it actually has the steering column shift forwards and backwards as well, so that way you can get the perfect driving position, and you can dial in where you have the pedals set. You can set those at the right angle so your feet are right where you want to be, so you're not crushing your ankles or overextending your ankles. Overall, the seat's really awesome. It feels completely planted when I'm doing any sort of aggressive driving maneuvers or anything like that. The tubular chassis, it just all looks super cool. And obviously, me being a Red Bull fan, I got the Red Bull livery for it, and it's just a cool thing to look at in general. But when it comes to actual form and function, I don't know a better seat out there that I could actually rely on. Future things that I want to do to this seat is I want to do some sort of motion platform on all 4 corners for it, as well as add the butt kicker base sensitivity, so you have haptic feedback as well on all 4 corners. I think that's going to really dial this whole chassis up to the next level, and it's going to be really sweet when I finally figure out how to do all of it. Again, I'm still early on in all this. I'm still learning, doing all the things, but overall I'm really excited, and I just have a lot of fun on the weekends just putting in laps and doing races. When it comes to the pedals for this simulator, I have the Fanatec pedals, the CSLs, and I have a load cell brake and the regular gas pedal. I'm pretty okay with it. I know a lot of people get sensitive about what pedals to use and stuff like that. I don't really have an issue with using the Fanatecs. I think they work great. If you guys want to drop a comment below on what you think would be the ultimate pedal setup to give me the ultimate realism feel of driving a Formula One car, please leave a comment below. I'm still learning, still trying to figure out how to make this the best possible racing simulator I can, and again, it's fun. From there, I have the Vizio surround sound, so I've got a surround sound bar underneath the where my legs go, and then I have the 2 channels right here, as well as the subwoofer in the back. It's more than enough sound. I don't really think you need to be blowing your eardrums out, but it just gives you enough realism to hear cars coming at you from either side, or if you're passing or whatever. Just gives you that extra bit of realism. When it comes to the screens, I actually have 3 48-inch LG C1 OLED screens. I think they're an awesome screen to use for gaming. The color, the backlight, the black light, all of it, it's just really good. 120 hertz refresh rate. Can't go wrong with an LG C1. From there, I wanted to figure out how to do better cable management, because when I originally had this all set up, I had a pile of cables just all over the floor and stuff like that, which is still the case. However, I came up with the sweep it under the rug method, where I ordered up some camo dark blue gym floor mats, and I put those all together in here, put all the wires underneath. It's all looking clean, all looking fresh. I went with the dark blue to try and match the Red Bull colors. And then from there, I wanted to hide all the wires that come from the TVs. So what I did there was bought black poster board from Office Depot and cut it out to fit all the crevices and grooves, and left obviously a notch in there for my feet to come through. But I think overall it really cleans it up, makes it a nice, simple, modern look. Now off to the right, actually my keyboard and mouse are on the ground, which to me is fine because you're already laying on the ground, so I don't really need a keyboard tray. However, I did find out after doing some research on the Playseat website, they actually make an actual keyboard attachment that bolts onto the bars of this thing, so I could have the keyboard up higher, but I'm not too worried about it because it's just either reaching here or reaching here. I'm not that petty. Sometimes I am. Behind the screens, I have my built computer. It's running a 4090 graphics card and all the other bells and whistles that go into that to make it all work, to make all these screens work. If you are gonna try to shop around to make 3 48-inch OLEDs work, you're gonna need a 4090 or maybe a 4080 if you wanna try to get by. It's a lot of processing power, and a graphics card needs to be able to back it up, as I found out by catching a 3060 on fire trying to run this. It started smoking, so that was great. You'll notice in my B-roll shots that I'm not shifting when I'm driving with the steering wheel. That's again because I don't have the cord plugged in, and I'm using the Club Sport steering wheel in the meantime though for the actual racing that I'm doing. But for the B-roll shots, I have the Zen Sim wheel in there because it just looks cool, and I'm really excited to finally get it working. Now, besides just having the 3 screens, I'm also running a MetaQuest 2 VR headset. I really enjoy it. Just a lot of fun. I haven't seen any reason to really upgrade. Then again, I haven't actually experienced using anything else. But if you guys want to drop a comment below again to see if it's worth me going up in scale to one of the more expensive VR headsets, I'd like to know what the differences are from the Quest 2, because if it is worth the money, I'd be more than happy to try and learn about it more and actually try and up the immersion game. When it comes to driving the full-length races and stuff, my hands get kind of clammy, sweaty, and all that kind of stuff. It makes the steering wheel get gross pretty fast. I also lose grip, and my hand actually has slipped off the steering wheel a couple of times from how sweaty it got. Did some research online and found, I think it's called Moradness. Have some cool gear like that, so I picked up a set of gloves from them, as well as picked up a pair of sim racing shoes from Puma. Didn't know that Puma made sim racing shoes, but they are great for long distance racing because my heels would constantly keep getting pinched in the metal plates on the Fanatec pedals there. So I've got a lot of decorations going on. I'm still in the process of doing a lot of stuff here, but I've got 3 of my favorite drivers up on the wall. Besides Mika Hakkinen, I'd like to get a poster print canvas thing of him up there, but I've got Kimi Räikkönen, Max Verstappen, and old Danny Rick there doing the celebration. On the wall over here, I've got 3 fun racetracks: Road Atlanta, the home racetrack here, and then Bahrain and Circuit of the Americas over there in Austin. Below that, I've got the controversial 2021 race finish of Max Verstappen crossing the finish line, as well as a 1 in 12 scale model of that car from that race. You know what? It was a controversial race, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm happy Max won. I don't know if there's just a whole lot of I don't knows there, but it was one of the few sporting events. I don't really get into sports much, but that was one of the few sporting events that made me actually jump out of my seat, actually screaming at the TV. That was a wild day, and don't really know what to say about all of that. But if you guys feel indifferent and you're like, Max shouldn't have won, or Max is totally cool, he got it, let me know in the comments, because that's always been a really zesty topic. To the left of that, I got a Max Verstappen 2022 helmet, his gold edition helmet. I've got my Club Sport steering wheel, motorcycle helmet, and then my Red Bull fridge that's not full of Red Bulls. It's got poppy drinks, because you get older and you realize that sodas aren't good for you. So you got to drink apple cider vinegar infused sodas to keep your gut healthy. So look forward to that when you get older. Over here, I've got a big old print of Verstappen back when it was Aston Martin days, doing a pit stop. And then below that, I've got my gaming computer that I use for like work purposes or just researching purposes. I've got three 32-inch LG Ultras for the monitors there, and it's a great setup for doing a lot of research, getting it done really fast. I've got a gaming PC built for that one as well, even though I don't really game on this. Most of my gaming outside of Formula One, I kind of just lounge around in the living room on my Xbox and just kind of play Halo Wars every once in a while. For a guy that doesn't really play video games, I guess I kind of play video games. Behind me is an old picture that I've had over the years from the 2005 Grand Prix from Indianapolis, back when we used to race there. I say we, when Formula One drivers used to race there. I feel like a Formula One driver when I'm in this seat, but I am most definitely not a Formula One driver. My dad brought my brother and I to that race as much as he could. That was just a lot of fun back when it used to be in Indianapolis. I'm happy it's in Austin, Texas. Miami, I was trying to get to that race this year. It just didn't work out in my schedule. Las Vegas is just out the window, too expensive to even think about trying to figure out how to get into that race. But I'm happy to see Formula One growing in the United States. It's been long overdue. I don't really think there's much else to talk about. If you guys have comments about my setup, please drop them down below. If you want to see other videos or have further questions and want me to explain more things about what I've got going on here, I'll be happy to try and put together some other videos that go in depth. If you want like a full in-depth review of the seat.
Well, that's awkward. My camera died, and now I'm on my cell phone. So I'm just going to do a quick closer here. So again, if you guys have comments or anything about any of the setup here, shoot them down below. I'll be happy to try and answer questions, or I'm really happy to get some feedback to know how I can make this thing better. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.